Thank you so much. So I just want to take a moment just to welcome everyone for being here today, attending this fortnightly wellness conference. I am really excited to have Victoria Redbard here to talk to us about intimacy and how we can transform our lives with intimacy. So, welcome, Victoria, and would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do? Just wait a second. I think you're muted.
Better?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to. I'm Victoria Redbard. I'm a somatic sexologist. And what I do is work with people on how to utilize their life force energy and their erotic energy to create change and create what they want to create in their lives. And what I have been working on over the last few years is the ability to work with a modality of self-pleasure that I created to help people connect to this intimacy inside of ourselves. And what I've seen is that this ability to create intimacy with ourselves creates intimacy in all the areas of our life, with our partners, with the people that we work with, and also working with building a relationship between ourselves, our businesses, the places that we live, our culture, and all these things. And what I've noticed inside of that is like a wholeness that tends to emerge in someone's experience of life when they're able to build intimacy in this way.
Wow, beautiful. That's so amazing. And can you share with us, I guess, everything that's kind of led you up into this moment of sharing this modality and having your passion with this field?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, it's been a really big journey. I've been, where to start? I guess that one of the pivotal points of my life was being in a relationship that was not aligned, that I was in a very abusive connection and relationship in that time of my life. And I think there was a moment when I actually dropped in beyond the fear of all the stories that were going in my mind of what I couldn't do. And I was quite defeated at this point after a couple of years of being in this relationship. And I dropped through a layer of really coming into my body and into the experience of what was going on inside of my body, and feeling the contractions and feeling the discomfort and feeling that what I'd created for myself was actually the complete opposite of freedom, which is something that I really stood for. When I actually, as I've shared with you guys just before we came on, like I'm from the UK, and I felt that there was almost like this feeling of feeling trapped in the UK. I felt there was a lot of cultural ideas of like who I needed to be, how I needed to show up, what was appropriate in my family, what was appropriate in my job. I was working in a corporate job, and I had this recognition that one day where I said to myself, like, now there's got to be more than this. Like, it was just like this knowing inside of myself that I needed to leave that experience and actually discover more than what was there. And it had been burning in me like most of my teen years. And so by the time I turned 18, I left the country and started traveling the world. I visited many countries. I did a lot of meeting lots of different people. I worked for like a human rights organization in Cambodia for a little while. I connected in with many different cultures and ways of doing life. And what came to me after that experience was like the importance of like love and freedom and well-being and our peace inside of that. And so when I came to Australia, I was like, this is me, like claiming my freedom, like moving into a life that I want to create. And so where I found myself in that relationship that was abusive and was difficult, I was like, oh, I've just created myself like another place that I feel trapped. And this was like a recognition moment where I was like, oh, this isn't something that is outside of myself. This is something that I'm creating inside of my body and inside of my reality. And, that's a very privileged way to look at things. But what I was realizing in that moment of what I could create was I had the opportunity and the ability to see another reality of what I chose. And so I left that relationship, and from there was this was no ongoing moments of recognizing how much sexual trauma was actually in my body, and my ability to actually be in life was deeply impacted by the contractions and the trauma that was lying in my body. And so at that moment, what I started to work with was like, I kind of felt I had this experience of like wanting to run away from what was happening inside of my body, wanting to get out of my experience of life. And what happened for me during that was I had to sort of stop and be with the discomfort. And it took a long time for me to actually go, okay, I'm just going to sit and be with what is. And when I did that, what started to emerge from that kind of really dark place inside of me, that place that felt like there was no hope, and my mind couldn't conjure up any way that I could have got out of that situation and outside of that experience. And what it actually took was for me to come into my body and to be with the physical experiences that were happening in my body, which was contraction, which was, nausea, which was tension. And when I started to relate to it and break it down into that ability to be with that tension and notice the stories were outside of it, pathways started opening up for me. I started to see this kind of pathway of sexuality and this pathway of tantra and this pathway of spirituality that was opening up in front of me. And from there, I kind of just followed the little breadcrumbs that I could see to open up experiences for myself, where I could actually start to journey with these aspects that I was noticing, like the thoughts in my mind, the emotions, the feelings in my body, the sensation, the physical sensations that was happening inside of myself. And from there was an ongoing process, an ongoing unfolding of the layers and the things that were in the way of my life force energy, my like erotic innocence, the truth of me as a sexual being. And yeah, it emerged for me inside of self-pleasure, actually. And this is really where this modality started to birth for me. It's like this understanding. I grew up with the understanding that self-pleasure was, and masturbation was this idea that, we would be with our bodies and that we would use friction-based touch to create stimulation, to have stress relief so that I could experience pleasure, arousal, and orgasm. And what started to land for me as I started to unpack this for myself was actually something potent happened when self-pleasure became my ability to be with my body and my ability to allow my body to speak to my mind and let go of any kind of goal or anything that needs to happen. And what came from there was this complete unfolding and unwinding. And I was able to go past the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, down into the sensations. And I was able to communicate those sensations through these tantric tools that I was learning, which was sound, breath, movement, touch. And from there was an opening of this almost more aliveness that started to be in my body. And when I stopped looking at these people in my life, I was like, wow, how do they have so much energy? How do they have so much joy and vibrancy inside of their bodies? And I started to see that inside of myself through this self-pleasure practice, which woke me up to, the understanding of my work in sexuality, and then witnessing many people in their self-pleasure practice and teaching people about this distinction. And after watching hundreds of people, this modality birth, and I created this school around sexuality, helping people understand the truth of their erotic nature and what that can create for them in their lives.
Wow, that is so, so beautiful. And how would you say, if you can share with us your thoughts on how, on a deeper level, how sexuality can really, really help us transform in this way, not just for
Sure.
women, but for men as well.
Yeah, totally. So I'm very passionate about helping both men and women with this self-pleasure modality. And inside my sexuality school, I have one for men and one for women. And really the biggest pieces that I've seen, there's almost like a following of a deeper truth that starts to emerge. We see these ideas of what success is in life. We see people chasing, fast cars and You know, these like fairy tale ideas of relationships where everything's perfect all the time and there's a white picket fence, and you know, there's all these ideas of what we see people going for in life. And what I recognized was, you know, a lot of these ideas of what we think we desire, and even what we actually go for in our desires towards other human beings, it's a lot to do with like the status, and it's a lot to do with culturally what we've grown up to think is attractive, and culturally what we've grown up to think is acceptable for a place for our sexuality to exist. And for me, the unfolding has been recognizing what is my ego, my identity's desires, and what is the identities that I've created but through my conditioning, ideas, and beliefs. And then what's like this truth and this deeper essence of myself underneath that, underneath who I need to be for when I have to be a, you know, a teacher, a leader, a daughter, a sister, and all these labels that are put on me is like is the truth of who I am. And it's like the current that drives my my truth that I've really woken up and connected to. And when I choose and follow my desires from that place, it's like there's just an expansion that starts to occur. There's a freedom and a true experience of success in obtaining these feelings of like real abundance and real gratitude for the things that are in my life. And so what I'm going for then, and I'm not being driven by a desire to belong or to fit in or to create something that's going to make me look a certain way. It's like I'm driven by the truth of my heart's desires. And when people are driven by the truth of their heart's desires, it's like their conscious mind and their unconscious are able to come together. And sexuality is a big part of that. It's like allowing what is in the undercurrents and the unconscious to come together with the conscious mind. And when those two are aligned and they're driving forward, we see an ability to create what we want to create in our lives. And that to me looks like, yeah, like building the life that we really want, you know, being able to obtain more money, but not just for the sakes of having more money and power. It's like for the sakes of being of service and to create something great in the world. You know, and creating a relationship for ourselves, not so we can look good or, you know, have a trophy wife or have a partner that makes us feel more powerful or makes up for the smaller parts of us, but to actually be in the deep joy of what it means to be human in this life. You know, and like going for a career as well, not because it's going to make our parents happy, but because it's truly what lights our heart up and is like really going to make an impact in this time that we are here on this planet. And I think there's something very beautiful, witnessing that and watching what occurs when somebody can move from that place in their life.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I resonate with what you say so much, because I found, you know, after really embracing my sexuality and harnessing this like energy within me, I've been able to like create so much in my life. And yeah, it's so important to really embrace that, because so often we seek things outside of ourselves, you know, to create these certain feelings or energies, but, you know, not realizing that it's already contained within us. It's this life force, like you say, like this prana, this chi that's instilled within us from birth, and it's really just being able to activate that and using that and coming back to remembering. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And is there anything that you feel inspired to share? So instead of me asking you a question, just anything that you feel
I
inspired to
can
share
go
on this
on if you
moment.
like. I could talk about this all day. So
What do
yeah.
you feel inspired to share that you feel would support a lot of people, like in this moment, you know, now? Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the piece that I feel has really impacted a lot of people's lives and has helped people is that recognition of, yeah, that current that wants to move through us, that part of our will that is almost so in connection with all with everything. you know, and it's in connection with the earth. It supports the earth. It's in connection with the culture, with the society that we're living in, with our own desires, with our own needs. And what I see is like a new paradigm that's actually emerging. You know, we're in this very pivotal time on the earth right now, and what I'm bearing witness to is an emergence of, yeah, like an ecosystem that can actually support everything. And you know what you guys are doing here with this wellness summit, and what you're creating is really just a part of that. It's part of a bigger mission that I'm very passionate about as well. And what I'm seeing for myself is what occurs when we align people with their deepest truths. And there's so many ways to do that. And as I spoke to, like for me, that place that I was in when things were really difficult, when I felt like there was nowhere to turn, and when I was in my mind and I felt there were no answers to create a solution to what was going on for myself in that moment, the only thing that saved me was to actually truly come into my body and to really be with what was happening in my body in that moment. And what I have become very passionate about over this last period of my life has been, how do I create that experience so that it transfers to everything? So that it transfers to the way that I show up inside of my business. And, you know, what I speak to is this like new paradigm of intimacy. That's the name of my sexuality school. And this new paradigm of intimacy, it's like, I'm not even teaching people how to be sexual. You know, I'm not teaching people how to have sex. In fact, I'm not interested in a conversation on how people should be having sex. What I'm interested in is actually people connecting to the parts of themselves that are tender, to the parts of themselves that are deeply sacred, and able to move from that place. Because when we're in touch with that part of ourselves, when we're not numbed out to the experience of life, and we're connected to our deeper essence, to our heart, to our gut feeling, to the vibration that actually like makes us feel alive and gives us goosebumps and makes us feel awake and actually here in this present moment, not thinking about the past or projecting into the future, and by worrying or thinking that we need to create something. It's like we're actually able to fully be here on the planet. And I think what this world needs more than ever is people that are fully present to what is happening. Because I know for myself, when I'm able to be fully present is when I'm able to be fully in love and not in fear. And when I'm connecting and creating choices from that place, inside of my business, inside of my relationship, inside of my family, inside of my community, what I'm creating is more expansion in the world and more of an ability to fully be present to what needs to happen now. And what that is offering so many of my students that are inside of my sexuality school is the ability to create space for people to actually come on their journey of healing, to create space for them to have a business that doesn't burn them out or stress them out. And it's creating like a whole new way of having relationships with everything, with ourselves, with our partners, with our businesses, with whatever it is that we're relating to in that moment. And yeah, there's a something that dropped in, and it was even in my my program. There's an online program, it's in my program today. I was just addressing it, is this idea that we need to fix the world or heal the world or create a different reality that because it's broken. And often we see that inside of ourselves. We feel that we're broken, we feel that we need fixing. And when we become fully present to just the sensations in our body, beyond our thoughts, beyond what might happen in the future, beyond what's happened in the past, we actually recognize that there becomes like a middle path. We're not stuck between it's either this way or this way. I've got to do this or that, and this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad. It creates an emergence for something else to exist, because we're able to sustain the discomfort and the pain that actually emerges as we move through the present moment. And, you know, what I've seen that really helps people actually locate that present moment and locate that erotic innocence that's there, locate that life force energy, and that prana and that chi that you spoke of, is the ability to let go of the identity of who we think that we are when we're being in any particular shade of our experience of this of human life as being a human. And it's the beliefs and the conditioning and the ideas of who we think we are and who we think we need to be for other people, and how we need to create comfort for other people, and how we should, like, you know, how we can stop the creation of the stories and the meanings that we make out of what it means to be in connection with others, in intimacy. It's like, if I want to go into the bedroom and have sex, I need to show up as this person. I need to be sexy. I need to be turned on. I need to be available. I need to not be emotional. I need to not be too much, or I need to, you know, be more because I'm not enough, or whatever those stories are. And those moments with sexuality and those most tender, most vulnerable parts of ourselves that we only take into the bedroom with the people that we really trust. It's like sex stops becoming like this idea of, like, it happens when this occurs, when the penis goes in the vagina, or when I'm turned on, when I'm aroused, when I'm this, that, or the other. And it becomes this ability to be whatever it needs to be for the unfolding of your erotic energy. And your erotic energy is actually just another word for your full aliveness. Like, when we're in our arousal, we're just like, our body is expanded. Like, we're not feeling any contractions, and we're not feeling any parts of us held back. We're in like this full, like, opening to all that is and all that wants to be. And we're not trying to make anything happen. We're not trying to direct anything or force anything, because we're just in this deep state of surrender. And imagine what it would be like if we could, you know, navigate our businesses from that space, and navigate our relationships from that space. And what if we didn't need to make it look a certain way every time, and we were actually open to that mystery? And when that mystery occurred, we weren't in fear of, like, it's going to be awkward, it's going to be weird, it's going to be terrible. And we could actually meet it with this awe-like state, this breath of fresh air to the unknown. And when that unknown's there, what if we had this relationship of, like, I don't know what's going to happen next, and can I be with any emotions that come up? Can I be with the fear of not knowing what's there? Can I be with the anticipation and the ability to be with our breath and be with our body? Which, you know, brings me back to my original point. It's like, when we can be with the body in that space, it's something magic just happens. I'm curious, I don't know if anyone can see the Facebook comments on here, but I'll be interested to know if this is resonating with anybody, or if they're feeling like times in their life when they perhaps shut down, or felt that they had to be a certain way to be in the relationship they were in, or to be the leader in their business, or to be the employee, or to be the mother or the father or the brother, inside of their reality. You know, if anyone wants to drop anything into the comments. I can't actually see any comments on this. Maybe it's because we're on the webinar.
I just want to say, oh my gosh, there so many times I just want to be like, oh my God, I don't know, you saw me doing the clapping reactions. But everything you said is so resonant. And, you know, when you talked about, you know, that intimacy, like, literally in my mind, and in my heart, all that was kind of coming through was, you know, that intimacy that we can have with everything that's happening in our lives, like you said, with our business, but also with nature, with all these small interactions and small moments that we have. That's intimacy. And I'm not seeing intimacy as just something like a, you know, relationship, a lover's thing, and seeing it as a certain way, but just allowing it to be what it is, as it is. It's, yeah, wow, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I just want to share a little bit about, because you just asked if anyone's ever had that experience of having to be a certain way. Like I've been there with my previous relationships. Complete, and it got to a point where I completely lost myself of identity. That was yeah, because you're no longer aligned with who you really are. Yeah, and then you can drop into this space of like scarcity, but also, fear and loss. Yeah, so it's really coming to that space of really honoring you as who you are, and your power, and really showing up in each moment as you are, not having to be a certain way. Because you're perfect as you are, and so is everything that's unfolding in life. And it's so beautifully how you said it, not seeing everything that's happening as, it needs to be healed, or there's good and there's bad. But really it just is. It's tapping into that space of non-duality.
I really like you sharing about that as well, because a distinction dropped in for me as well when I was working with one of my students this week about, it's very easy to go, okay, acceptance for all that's going on, it's like a mind acceptance, and okay, I'm feeling this acceptance, it's like, oh, yeah, like just to tell ourselves it's okay. And so we can use that will, but it takes so much force. And I feel when we're connected to the body and we're in the body, it's like the acceptance is more on like a cellular level, it's like breathing into the next moment and breathing into the next sensation or feeling that we feel in our body. And that brings like a different level of freedom than when we try to like force something through the mind.
Yeah, that's so beautiful that you said that, because I'm studying Gene Keys right now, and one of the gifts in it is resolve. And this is what Richard Rudd, the founder, wrote. He said there's a difference in, like, willpower, but there's a willpower that is in flow, and then there's a willpower that is forced. So that willpower that comes from you being completely aligned with your true essence, that willpower is effortless. There's so much ease and grace, and you're not exhausting yourself. But then, yeah, that's a willpower you're just constantly forcing, and then that leads to like exhaustion, and that's when you're completely out of alignment. So it's so beautiful that you said that, because I literally just read that last night. Wow. Yeah. Does anyone have anything they would love to ask Victoria, Isla, anyone, since we're here?
Victoria, hi, it's Isla
Hi.
here. I'm completely resonance actually to what you said, because as a business leader, as a mother, as a wife, sometimes people expect you to not completely be who you are. Like, for example, before I was in this woman empowerment, I'm still in real estate, but you whenever you speak in public, for example, right, somebody is going to make like your speeches, right? And sometimes you can't really say a lot of things, because, for example, you're gonna make other people upset, and a simple example of like they will create some kind of like uh, writing that is like is not you, and you actually forced to be that person, because you are in the business, or you have to have whatever that is being expected. But at one stage in my life, when I was like um, starting actually this woman empowerment, that you actually have to have a very good intimacy with yourself, and you have to be able to, how you call it, be on yourself. And regardless whoever gonna stick by you, because business is relationship, right? Business is like a marriage relationship. You can't really I don't believe business is not the relationship. Actually, relationship is essential in our life, and intimacy is essential. Like, you can't really force someone to work with you, right? You can't really say, regardless how much money you give them, if they're not really happy to be around you or to do whatever you are required to do, they will do it, but they don't do it with their heart, and the result is not to be good, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's like, um this is like a paradox, because in professionalism they would teach you how to basically behave, like, you can't really, you know for me, I'm very straightforward. When I don't like somebody, I just tell them, leave. And a lot of people don't understand that, oh, she said that to leave, but actually I was just being myself. And if they can accept it or they cannot accept it, it's like, that is how the relationship going to be, right? And I think it's important not to force things, like, some people can be with you, some people cannot be with you, and it's just the way it is. And a lot of time, like, for example, I used to leave my children 20 days because I like to do my conference. But the things that people don't understand is, why are you leaving your children for 20 days? The thing that they don't understand is, when I leave my children on this comfort zone on 20 days, I'm actually become a better mother.
Yeah.
And I started to miss them. I started to understand that, it's a contrast. So I really love your sharing, Victoria. Thank you. I mean, it's resonant so much with me, because I'm a very free spirit, like wild. Like they say, my totem is wolf, because I just say whatever I need to say, do whatever I need to do. And I think it's important to let the universe decide, right? Like, there is a bigger force that is inside of us, and it's a surprise. It's good when you have surprises, right? Like, somebody just knock at your door and say, this is money for you, without you even like looking for it. Or a lot of surprises is actually better. Like, it makes you feel better, and you're not becoming other people. And this is important, because a lot of people are molded to be another person. Like, literally another person, and they don't have intimacy with themselves.
Yeah.
I wanted to have actually your school for my school. Like, I have a center. Maybe you can be our teacher, because it's, you see, the thing is, when my partner or my leaders understand that they have a good intimacy with themselves, then the business started to happen. The magic started to happen.
Yeah. I'd love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like this is such an important topic that needs to be really spread, because I feel like sometimes when people hear the word like sex or intimacy, they have like this kind of construct around it, and you can feel like really uncomfortable or contracted, and people don't want to really go there because of how the media has kind of created this perception around all of this. And we're really just shifting and moving into like a new paradigm right now, where this is of utmost importance, because what we're really doing is, like I said, just there's this primal force inside of us, this life force that literally can help us and guide us and support us in creating so much, not just for ourselves, but for the world. Yeah, so yeah. Thank you so much. Does anyone else have anything they want to ask Victoria? Have a few minutes. Thank you so much for sharing, Isla. Yeah, just gives another perspective into your life, and what you go through.
Yes, and business is relationship. You need to have a very good relationship to yourself first, then to your business.
Mm.
If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, your business is not moving anywhere, because you know you are not become fully you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, there's so many different ways that we can create with this energy. And, it's all very well to say, like, we need more intimacy in the world. We need to have more intimacy with all these different parts. But intimacy is vulnerable, and there's a reason why that it's so edgy and so tender to open up these parts of ourselves. And so a lot of the work that I do is actually helping people get into that connection with themselves. So what I would love to do before we close up today is actually offer your followers on Facebook access to my sex magic course to give them that. And there's a really epic meditation that I created that they can listen to sort of get in touch with everything that's in the way of them meeting that intimacy in their life and creating what they want for themselves. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, maybe Nia, I can send you the link to that.
Of course, sounds so amazing. I feel like I want to really dive into it. Incredible. Thank
I'll
you.
be your student, Victoria.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. And I was like following your Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh, and you have such amazing content, and it's honestly so inspiring. And you walking this path and sharing this gift, this magic, to everyone that crosses your path. And I just want to say that you have such a soft and warming and loving energy. Yes, it's really, really, really special. And I really, really appreciate your presence and your energy and just your wisdom so much. Just the way that you share. It's really, really, really just helpful and inspiring. And just so resonant. Like everything you said, like, yes, like, yes. I was like just smiling the whole time. So thank you for taking the time to be on here with us and sharing. On behalf of everyone, I just want to say thank you so much. And yeah, really, really, really deeply grateful and humbled to have you on here.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Love the work you guys are doing. Appreciate having me.
Can I ask something, Victoria?
Mhm.
So, the evolution part of self intimacy, right? The, how you call it, the exponential true self. How is there any remedy or anything that you think that it can, how you call it, bring us there, like guide us there?
Yeah. So I feel like it's the ability to be with the sensations in the body. Because it's our sensations that are actually driving our feelings and then our emotions and then our thoughts. And we get stuck in the cognitive mind, and our whole world, thinks that mind is king, and I'm seeing what happens when people drop back into sensations and into their bodies. So the whole self-pleasure practice and the modality that I've created is the ability to be with the sensations in the body. And when we're able to be with that, it doesn't matter if anyone rejects us in our vulnerability, or we show up and on that stage and share our truth, and somebody has to leave the business or whatever. It's like we're actually okay because we can be with the sensations in the body. And that actually is, the greatest superpower that I think anyone can have. Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you. I know it's late for you there. So yeah, thank you so much once again, and really, really looking forward to seeing where this all takes us. And for me, I would love to continue to be involved and engaged in your work. It's so amazing, and I'm sure Isla is too. She's already expressed that. So thank you so much, and
Thanks, guys.
looking forward to seeing everyone soon. Yeah, blessings you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good night, guys. Bye.
Good night, Victoria. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ala, for this space.
Yes, Nadia, maybe we can put our song. Thank you, Neely. It's amazing.
We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change, leading change. We are the woman leading change for our people, for our countries, for everyone in the world. Love, peace, needed in this world. Endurance, needed in this world. Forgiveness, needed in this world. Unity, needed in this world. Yes, African woman leading change. Antarctican woman leading change. Yes, Asia woman leading change. Yes, Australia woman leading change. Yes, Europe woman leading change. Yes, North America. Yes, South America. Woman leading change. Kalirato fella. Kalirato fella. Woman leading change. Kalitabo fella. Kalitabo fella. Woman leading change. Gotando pella. Gotando pella. Woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. Yes, Ayla. Yes, Ayla. Woman leading change. Yes, Indonesia. We thank you, world woman leading change.
Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
Wow. Wow, wow.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love and light.
I love and light. Bye-bye.